Good evening.
Good evening.
We are here, and once again, it is our great pleasure to be in your reality. Today is April number 7, 2016. It is a new moon. It is always important to notice what you start or what you begin on the new moons. A few weeks from now, April 22, or Earth Day, you will have full moon. And as our vehicle was pointing out to you, you are entering a corridor, a yearly corridor, let us say, of potential volatility. In other words, over the course of many years, especially since the let's say late 90s, or even in the early 90s, late 80s, a lot of volatility, a lot of upsetting acts have occurred from mid-April through May 1st, or Beltane. So this is to keep yourself alert and aware, picture peace, harmony. Imagine that troublemakers' plans fall apart. You know, when you become more aware, it is your duty to think good thoughts, to help stabilize not only your own lives, but the entirety of the planet. So welcome, friends. We are gathered here for a Thursday evening class at Moon Musings, number 112, here at the famous Dancing Moon in downtown, on the outskirts of downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. We have an inquisitive group this evening, as always, those who want to be exceptional in their understanding of existence, to self-accelerate, to take responsibility as a creator of your life, not to punish yourself, but to accept responsibility that you are a powerful being and that you have created your life and that you have a lot to look forward to, even in the midst of planetary structural upheaval. Certainly potentials for great volatility, but also, more than that, these times are about people awakening. We've been discussing these subjects for quite a number of years now. A little over a month from now, we will be having our 29th anniversary. Each of you, when you turn 29, you have what's called a Saturn return. And you can have a Saturn return from your marriage, stay married 29 years, your birth date of 29 years, your children's birth dates, the building, moving into a home, 29 years anniversary. 29 is a key number. It is the number of days that the moon travels around the zodiac in a month. It is also the number of years that the planet Saturn moves around the zodiacal structure. So when you are 29, you have big life-changing opportunities. You take the summation of your life and you create a foundation that will carry you for the next 29-year cycle. You will take all that you have learned and ground it into greater meaning, higher level. We have some younger folks here this evening, and perhaps you are not close enough to 29 to get excited about it, but you are close enough to 21 to get excited about it. Yes, and that is your next big excitement. When you are 7, Saturn makes you grow up. When you are 14, 15, you hit speed bump, everyone. It's difficult. Life is very challenging at 14 and 15 for all people of all races all around the planet. It has to do with something beyond the cycles that you understand. And then 21, you have to reach a new level of responsibility, maturation, make some big decisions about what you want to do in life, Not that you can even know, but to do something. And of course then 29. You must keep learning, all of you. Do not ever stop learning, but learn what excites you. Do not force yourself into courses of study that are tedious or boring, or someone says you should do this. Follow where your interests lie, whether it is health, understanding space, or simply figuring out how to have a good life from day to day, week to week. These are extraordinarily difficult times that you are finding yourself within. And as our vehicle was covering for you, the moon of April, that would be the month of April as you call it, has a number of exclamation points, punctuation marks with some planetary retrograde motions. That means some planets will be moving backwards. The two most important dates to watch, and they will be affecting you for many, many months, from April up until more than likely the end of September. Then things will change very much. And that would be April 17, Mars moves retrograde in Sagittarius, about 9 degrees. The next day, April 18, Pluto goes retrograde. And that would be about 17 degrees of Capricorn. These two planets moving together like this, together making a backward movement, they set up a very volatile window for someone. It could be North Korea, it could be something in the Middle East, that someone pushes some button somewhere and their fuse is very short. It could be more minor expressions of volatility where you get the jihadists who have been brainwashed into destroying themselves in the name of entering paradise. Now, to be fair, people, to be very, very fair, you have to be very desperate to blow yourself up. But you also have to be misconstrued as well, to pick up guns and go to war and think that you are going to win something by killing someone. We have mentioned that even the young soldiers who run the drone programs, they never leave a cozy chair. They have a shower every night, a meal. Yet they run these programs and through these cameras and videos and all manner of things. They can watch people in other parts of the world run in panic. Children, weddings, parents, grandparents. They blow them up with drones. These young men, these drone operators, these hot dog pilots as they are called, by the time they are 26, 27 years old, and they grew up playing video games, of course. Video games have long been utilized to train young men into having no emotion so that they can kill at a distance. This was first presented in a book, quite controversial at the time. It came out decades and decades ago. It was by an author called Orson Scott Card. He is a North Carolinian, a Mormon by belief. And his book was called Ender's Game. It was a movie a few years ago. It was about co-opting young boys and training them when they are young in the art of war so that they will have no emotionality and that they can go out and kill without coming home with their mind shattered in PTSD. Yet nonetheless, these current ender gamers, drone operators that are now 25, 30 to 35, they have severe PTSD. They can't sleep at night. They have nightmares. They get set off by anything. They can't really have intimacy in a loving relationship. And we will remind one and all that one of the greatest treasures and one of the greatest reasons that you have for coming to earth is to get a body, to grow it up, and to learn. And of course you have free will to do what you want within reason. But when you start destroying others to feel important, there goes your life. Not only there goes your life, there may go many lifetimes. Because whether you believe it or not, you live again and again and again. You incarnate various global situations and various body types and colors and genders to learn. And one lifetime affects many others. That's why when you are told to behave and to do good, it's not because someone's telling you what to do, it's impeccable advice. When you behave well, when you think well, when you act well, the world is yours, because the world responds energetically. Field that is everywhere responds to what you believe, what you expect, and what you dish out. So dish out goodness, dish out generosity, and don't fall for buying the book Brooklyn Bridge. There's going to be many false ideas this year. This is an exceptionally confusing year. Not only do you have the potential of volatility breaking out, but the financial situation is very poor, so you must learn to be a magnet to attract work, to attract wealth. There's no shortage of money in the world, and it can end up in your pocket just as easily as it can in someone else's. And so it is a matter of good self-worth and what you want to bring to your life. Nonetheless, there's going to be a lot of confusion this year, political promises that will be impossible to fulfill, and the political theater is exactly that. It is one great big charade, and the more volatile it becomes with name calling and who is this and who is this, and it's just starting, folks. What it's doing is keeping everyone pointing fingers at everyone else, knowing that all the players are lying. The things that Bernie's saying are true about Wall Street and all of this, but the things he's promising are pies in the skies. You would have to completely change all of the players in your system. And actually, there are many dark players that it's almost impossible to have political grandstanding come in and change the corruption. It's not just in the USA. This is worldwide corruption. Why? Because countries are being manipulated by extraterrestrial forces. People who run countries are being manipulated by interdimensional beings. We'll get into quite a bit more of this because there's going to be volatility this year in the skies. If you've looked up recently, you'll notice that the blanket of chemtrails has exceeding itself in density. It will start early in the morning. Bright blue skies will turn white, so that by the time people go to work and they get out of their cars and they're in it, the sun is blocked out and they're breathing in all manner of toxic substances. More and more people are getting what's called some are calling it a galactic type of flu. It's coming from the skies, from the chemtrails that are poisoning you, and they have nanobots in them. Sometimes this settles in the lungs, the joints. It makes people feel heavy and confused. And of course, wait 2 or 3 days. If there's no chemtrails, you'll notice that if you drink a lot of water and get some rest, you can restore yourselves. So there's a big big battle over, let's say, diminishing the health of people. And of course, the Zika virus is going to arrive with the summer season, and there will be more hysteria. You must learn to sort out the truth from that which is being purposely driven as fake and confusing. This is the theme of this year. It is, on some level, an intellectual test. It is a test of your intuition. Remember to check your belly. This is where you get feelings in the gut. And scientifics will readily admit that there's all manner of bacteria in the gut that help you come to clarity, that give you feelings. Your feelings may be clearer this year than your thinking processes, because your thinking processes are being confounded with disinformation. And most humans are not sophisticated enough, nor psychically aware enough, to see through the fake news and the disinformation. But a large majority of what you are hearing on the radio, seeing on TV, is fear-driven confusion and disinformation to hide many other difficulties that are brewing. So, we'll open with this. Remember the dates: April 17, Mars retrograde; April 18, Pluto retrograde; and then a Mercury retrograde around April 28th. These will be important to affect you. Slow down. Spend more time in nature. And think about things. Daydream a bit. Look at the clouds. Watch the squirrels. Watch the trees blossom. It may sound boring, but it's very enlivening for your neurological system, which is under siege right now by globalists who want to destroy the youth, the middle class, the elderly, and race, gender makes no difference. This is around the world. You are in what some are recognizing as a massive depopulation movement that may unfold over a few decades. All right, that said, let's see if we can roust it up for some excitement that in the now you can lead a good life. Perhaps you may not know what's coming down the pike, but every day you can set out to be happy, to be in the right place at the right time, and to attract the wisdom and the abundance of the multiverse into your life. All right, let's go for it, and let's open up with discussion. Who would like to begin? Loud and clear, please.
This is David.
Yes, David, welcome.
Thank you.
What are you sleuthing out?
Well, while you were in Sedona, Sue and I had some conversations. She saw some activity in the sky, and I sent your vehicle, and Dorsey saw it as well. The photograph that I took in southern Alamance County, which is for people out there in the world, that's near Greensboro, of this massive chemtrail that was all these different colors. I'd never seen anything like it. And when I took the photograph, there was a white dot, which was invisible to the naked eye, but you could see it was moving. It was like a trajectory. And so is part of these massive amount of occluding the sky to keep us from seeing what's going on up there? And I guess my other question is, it defies logic. Why in the world would the people who are involved in the multiple levels of government that are involved in this process, don't they have children and grandchildren and mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers that are going to get, and dogs and cats that are going to get poisoned by this crap too? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. So I asked a couple of questions there, so I'll drop it now.
All right. He said the key phrase, it doesn't make sense to me. Now, you are in a battle of wits, and the disinformation is so great that most people will simply repeat it and not have any idea that it doesn't make any sense. Common sense, reason, is under siege because you have criminally insane people running the world. They are cheating, lying, and stealing and killing all over the world in the name of their own power or whatever else is running them. If you do not have this affliction, of course it makes no sense to you. That's number one. This is one of the reasons that most of the people in the world who still have common sense cannot figure out why others are doing these literally insane things. Many people don't think. Many people will follow instructions for a paycheck. Many people don't know what they're doing. They're just simply obeying, yes sir, particularly in the military or in the banking industries where there's big money to be made. Politically, you have criminals blackmailing each other. And what are they doing? Why are they spraying these chemtrails? Number one, to disperse poisons. Number two, of course, to cover things up in the skies. If you are a Googler, by any chance, if you just look at a few things here and there, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, about things in the skies, whether you are looking in Siberia, Kazakhstan, China, South America, or over in Alamance County in North Carolina, the skies are weird. And there are all manner of lights, sounds, and explosions, and obviously there's some manner of a battle going on. In Sedona, there are people who, for a hire, will take you out into the desert. There's a big sky out there in Arizona, very few trees, and so you can see from a very large horizon. And they will take you out for a fee and put special glasses on you, goggles. They are called, what would they be called?
Night vision?
Night vision, infrareds or some such. And they guarantee that you are going to see craft. So, you all know that your dogs and your cats can see beyond the visible spectrum. They can see into the infrared spectrum because you'll watch a cat or a dog follow things that you cannot see. The human eye is limited. Some animals within the animal kingdom have a greater advantage to their biology than you do. And they don't watch television, nor do they Google or go on the internet or have a dumb phone. So they are a bit ahead of things, if you understand. But nonetheless, there are things going on that you cannot see. So the chemtrails are spraying to poison, to obfuscate the skies so that people get used to the white sky. But also, there are many, many photos that are coming out from all over where it looks like to the left of the sun, people are seeing some manner of orb, whether it is calling it a second sun, something is showing up, and it has been showing up for a while, and there's been speculation by many different sources that the Anunnaki planet, Anunnaki meaning the Sumerian word Anunnaki, we call them the Nakis sometimes, just to be a little irreverent, that word means those who from heaven to earth came. And our regular students know that as improbable as it may appear to you short-livers, meaning you live 70 to 100 years, these Anunnaki live a long, long, long time. And the upper end of the caste system within the Anunnaki, their higher-ups who you worship and call gods, they can live literally millions of years. So it is not a big deal for some of the visitors who were here 200, 300,000 years ago, or even 13,000 years ago, or even Anu, whose last visit, we believe, was 3760, either 3760 or 3670 BC. That's the last time the head god, the emperor of the galactic invaders, colonizers, Anu, he was here about 6,000 years ago. About 300 years, 200 years after his visit, civilization took off. And they've been waiting for civilization to get to a certain place in infrastructure development, that is to restore the space program, obviously, and now they don't need a lot of the humans and a lot of the infrastructure that's here. The space program has been reestablished, and of course that's one of their main missions. So it's a complex concept, yet once it is explained, it starts to fill in the blanks to make sense, David. This is why all of the tumult in Syria, Turkey, Lebanon, the Middle East, because this was, of course, the place where the space program was last run. Anything else, David?
That's all. Thank you.
Who else has something they want to say?
Joyce.
Joyce, welcome.
Yeah, I just want to follow up on the previous comments because I've been thinking about mass consciousness.
Mass consciousness.
Yes. Which to me means mindsets and thinking patterns that lots of people have, that you see similar behaviors and other things in multiple places, but they're very, very similar.
That's a good summation of it, because there's mass consciousness, and then within mass consciousness there are mass beliefs. So people in the Middle East may have very different mass beliefs than people, let's say, in the Latin countries of South America. One being perhaps oriented around Muslim beliefs, another oriented around Catholic Christian beliefs. These would be mass beliefs. Not that they are correct, but they are beliefs that a lot of people hold. The mass consciousness would include all people and their awareness. And in the mass consciousness would be beliefs that people have about their body, what they think it is, what it can do. Please continue, Joyce.
My observation is that the mass consciousness is spurred on by media and communications and everything else.
Oh, the media wants nothing more through either its broadcastings or through companies like Apple and Microsoft to suck up everyone's attention and to program them. Continue.
Right. So for those of us who are sort of, I'm going to describe it this way, looking from the outside in.
That is a good description. You have learned to observe rather than to simply be caught up on the wheel.
Right. And so what advice do you have?
And so, say it again.
What advice do you have for those who are wanting to stay out of mass consciousness?
Well, let's say that you can't stay out of it because you are part of mass consciousness and your thoughts help elevate mass consciousness. But the more aware an individual becomes at any age, the more you learn to observe. Life is about participation, but if you don't take time to observe, then you'll never figure anything out. Those of you who are very aware, this is a big time for observation, because when things move to chaos very quickly, and they are, you can learn a lot, because you are not swept up in the maddening masses who are not thinking and will respond very quickly to panic triggers. So when people of awareness are around this type of situation, set your intentions very clearly about the kind of day you want. You know this. And if you can't think of anything else, just say when you wake up, it's going to be a great day. And if you don't feel like having a great day, say it's going to be a smooth day. It's going to be an interesting day. It's going to be a peaceful day. It's going to be a safe day. It's going to be a generous day. It's going to be a day with a pleasant surprise. Say something when you wake up in the morning to condition the day for the way you want it. And know that you are going to learn a lot. Now, you're going to, all of you, find people, especially in the next number of months, who are going to want to suck you into their fear. Because things are really unstable now. And so see if you can become a stabilizer for others, so that rather than them panicking, you can assure them, you know, somehow it's going to work out better than we can imagine. When you have that attitude, attitudes are another word for beliefs, truly. And when you have an attitude of caution, reverence, respect, and you're smart enough to remember that your thoughts create reality, that your words, abracadabra, that little magical bibbidi-bobbidi-boo, abracadabra, remember, translates to I create as I speak. It doesn't mean you're going to go out and say, I'm winning the lottery, I'm winning the lottery. You have to have grounded, reasonable creations. But nonetheless, if you focus on attracting great abundance to yourself, it doesn't have to come from the lottery. It can come from lots of ways. So let's say initiation time is coming. You will all be proving your worth to others and to help them not get caught up into big panic. And besides, Joyce, the mass consciousness now is having a big wake-up call, all over the world. The very good thing is that people are seeing through corruption. Mm-hmm. They are seeing through greed. They don't know what to do about it. And right now, they are polarizing. We don't like you, or we don't like you, or we're going to set ourselves up against this and against that. Think about common sense and allow common sense to prevail. And when issues that are being leveraged in terms of political correctness, then this is absurd. We are going to make some very political, incorrect statements right now. Or we'll quote some people who made some politically incorrect statements. That's even better. You have something called the U.S. Pediatric Association or Society or some such. What does that mean? It means what? The U.S.
Association of Pediatric Doctors?
Doctors, yes. And who would the pediatrics be advising? Children. They came out with a statement and they said, basically what we say, you can't turn a man into a woman and you can't turn a woman into a man. It's impossible. And they want an education coming out to teach children that they don't have to have surgery and they don't have to take medicine for the rest of their lives to find peace with who they were born with. Now, this is not going to sit well with some of the, let's say, progressives who are pushing an agenda. Let's say that this agenda to transform the human body into something other than what it was when it was born is a recreation, a restimulation of the Atlantean problems from 13,000 years ago and older. And it's one thing to use a type of surgery to help people save their lives. whether it is a heart or lung or kidneys or something of this. But to chop off parts of your body and to rearrange yourself because you feel as if you are not what your genitals say, this is mental illness. And mental illness is often entity possession, meaning that non-physicals are sharing the body of a person. It's possible to have 100, 1,000 non-physicals share a person's body. It can happen from other lifetimes, can happen from this lifetime. Are disturbing factors that are starting to prevail among the land. And we are not going to take sides and advocate. We'll simply say that it is unhealthy to start chopping your body up, to think that you are going to change your identity. Lots of people are unhappy with what's in their spirit and what's in their soul. And they have been for thousands of years, because you incarnate and you bring with you all the stories and all the adventures of many lifetimes. And then you get here and you grow up, and after 15 or something you get depressed. You say, wow, life's not easy. And this is why you live, to improve your life, to take your pain, your confusion, your misguided ideas. And you must all ask yourself, is what I'm doing contributing to the overall good of society? Or am I harming myself and my family by being selfish because I want this? Who wants it? It's like a drug addict or an alcoholic. They're usually drinking or taking drugs to cover up immense pain. There's only one way through trauma and pain. That is to admit it, to accept it, to deal with it, and to recognize everyone's got it. This is the dignity of the human spirit. So when you are setting out your generosity among one another, pray for reason and groundedness, that it is restored to all of humankind, that people can have compassion for each other's difficulties. But the few who have difficulties, it is not their role to make everyone else dissociate and act as if their great difficulties are a new normal. This means something is very wrong with society. Just as young girls, you know, they are books coming out about young teenage boys sending emails to girls saying, send nudes, N-O-O-D-S. They don't even know how to spell. You add L-E and it's a noodle on it. This is how stupid. Send nudes. But it's even worse. The 13-year-old girls, the 10-year-old girls, they take pictures of themselves and send nude pictures, and then they are on sites all over and called sluts. That is from one report. Now, a new report, a woman says she's interviewing preteen and teen girls about their sexual habits and how young men don't want kissing and cuddling and going steady and hand-holding anymore. There's only one thing they want. That's oral sex. And young girls are so stupid because of bad mothering, bad fathering, and way too much time on the internet. They think that oral sex at 13, at 10, at 15 is a normal part of adolescent romance. It's going to ruin your life, not only your mouth, not only the uncleanliness of what's going on. You're talking about a young generation who's completely lost their noodles with bad parenting, and no one is showing them how they're ruining their lives. Above all else, dear friends, in a society that's under constant surveillance, maintain your dignity. Because remember, it's going to last beyond this lifetime, and you are going to pay for it for 1,000,000 years if you mess up in this lifetime. 1,000,000 years. We said that a few classes ago. We got everyone on that one. All right, who has question, comment, insight?
Please, this is Michelle.
Michelle, welcome.
Thank you. You had mentioned South America a few questions back, and since the beginning of the year, there's been quite a lot of activity down there with the Pope going to Antarctica and then the Russian Pope going down there.
You mean the real Pope went to Antarctica?
Yes. He went to Argentina, I think it was Antarctica, Argentina, the beginning of the year. And then
Argentina, but
oh,
no.
was it Argentina? And then the Russian Pope went to Antarctica. Obama was just in Argentina. And I was just wondering, with all those underground bases and the Nazi influence down there, if maybe that was because of the possible incoming ONU return?
Good sleuthing, Michelle. Very good sleuthing. Very good. Now, Argentina, as you well know, is a large country, and it is the homeland of this Pope, who considers himself to be Argentinian, but he's really Italian. His Italian family moved there. The Nazis, in great number, did move to Chile and Argentina. And a long time ago, when the Anunnaki were on the planet, they considered the continent Antarctica, they called that the underworld. Because of the way Earth is suspended in space, and the Antarctic continent is at the bottom, they referred to that as the underworld. Later on, the idea of hell and underworld became interchanged, but that is the underworld. And of course, when you get down to Argentina, then just south of that is the little country Tierra del Fuego, and of course our Antarctica was a place that the Nazis made a beeline for when they escaped after World War II. They went to Antarctica and to Argentina. It has also been stated that quite equivocally in the history books, or the records that the Anus left, and the modern day scientifics are saying this, that when the planet Nibiru, the home of the Anunnaki, and what are the other names of Nibiru?
Planet of the Crossing.
Planet of the Crossing, Planet X, Marduk,
The Destroyer.
The Destroyer, Wormwood, good. That when this planet X, or it's also called the 12th planet, when it re-enters your solar system, it comes in from the south of Earth, where you are, North Carolina, when you look out at the sky, you do not look down. You are in the northern hemisphere, and currently you can see a few of the planets in the heaven, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, if your eyes are good. They are in what you call your ecliptic, the orbital plane. Nibiru is not in that elliptic. It comes from the bottom. It's sneaking into your system, and it moves opposite from the way all the planets move. That's why it's called the crossing. It crosses in, and then once it crosses in, it's going the opposite way, so it's called the destroyer. Now, remember, the current Pope stepped in after another Pope who had a very, very bad record, Benedict, of lying and deceiving and covering up the pedophile scandals, that this Pope stepped in, and he was a Jesuit. Jesuits are the scientific branch of the priesthood. The Catholic Church has been at war and at odds with the Jesuits forever. So it was a bit of a coup that the Jesuits stepped in, a scientific. This one is a chemist, we believe, because he's going to have more credibility when it comes time to announce some manner of return. And so, of course, to go to Argentina, Obama's there. You said the Catholic Pope's there. The Russian Pope, if it's correct, goes to Antarctica. They are, let's say, getting ready for homecoming.
Yeah.
And then the next question everyone wants to know is when, is if you can clock it in. If it is Nibiru, and if it's not some sleight of hand, and it could be a craft, it does not have to be a planet at this point, and Nibiru would be very substantial. It would be at least 5 to 6 times, if not more, the size of Earth, and so you're not going to miss it. If it appears in your system, it's going to create havoc. There is no missing this. But in the meantime, it could be a while, and of course you have this this boondoggle that everyone is pushing now called climate change. We would say, to quote ourselves, that the words climate change are code for the potential of the arrival of Nibiru. Just as for years the word nuclear was often used as a code when referring to ETs, UFOs, extraterrestrials, etc. So Michelle, you were figuring things out. Do you think a lot of people are figuring things out, or just a few?
Just a few.
Just a few. The people you know, are they figuring out what you are figuring out?
Well, the ones I choose to communicate with on a day-to-day level, yes. Of course, they're the family members that, or, the other ones that are 3D.
But you are saying that you have friends that you can say this to,
yes,
and they can see this.
Yes.
Now, we can say the same thing. We have many friends in the human realm, and they can see it as well. We are just taking a little survey here. We like to know how the masses are awakening and how they can integrate this, because the Anunnaki story is very complex. It's simple on one level. To understand, they live a long time. They've basically set up civilization on your planet. They pass themselves off as gods in every religion. And someone said to us in Sedona, well, who are we going to worship? We said, that is the dirty word. This is again, Joyce talk about mass beliefs. That's a mass belief that many people have, that you are supposed to and you have to worship some beings. But these beings want you to worship them, because if you start figuring out, a lot of you, that your thoughts create, and this is one big training ground, you're not going to go destroy the Anunnaki or anything, but if you stop believing in them, you start to create a mutiny, because you pull your energy away. And this is what's been building on the planet since, for a while. And it's really accelerated during the time we call the nano years, 1987 through 2012, when everything went faster and faster and faster and faster to wake people up. And now people are awakening at dangerous rates, very dangerous rates, because they don't know what to do with all the data. You see, in 1987, 88, we started channeling. We said, hi, we're Pleiadians, we're from the future, we are your kin, we've come back into your time because there's a tyranny that's born now and it catches up to us. That was a lot for people to swallow. But slowly, over the years, over the various tidbits of data, and the world changed. Now today, in an afternoon, you can Google a few things and blow your mind. And then you don't know what to do with it, because it destroys the nervous system. It's too much data without enough observation and understanding. You are here to get the big picture and to observe it and to live as best you can. What else, Michelle?
Well, I had a question about when you were talking about the drones.
About drones, yes.
Not the drones themselves, but when people and large amounts of people die in this very horrific, vicious, instant way, the soul, I believe, gets trapped in the astral. So I'm wondering that I know people do grid work and they do transits with these souls. What is going on up there with this congestion of these massive souls?
Well, not every soul goes into confusion in the astral, but certainly, let's say, when there is a sudden death, especially in war situations, as you said with the drones. And there they are 1 minute of watching, getting ready for a wedding, and then they hear the whine, and then everything's blown. Now, the trick is, when you die, to remember that you are dead. And then not to get recycled into fearful beliefs. And of course, if you are highly oriented towards worship and religion, then if you figure out you're dead, you are immediately going to fall into your worship belief system, and then you end up in the astral. Some people, Michelle, die in these explosions in the Middle East, and they're very confused. Just like plane crashes, people are very confused, and they may wander the area for a long period of time, just as battle zones from World War II, from the Civil War, from very ancient times. Those shattered in war that die suddenly can be very lost, and they can wander the area. Now, sometimes there are visitations from the astral, and they come in and they want to lead these souls, these lost souls, out, and then they take them up into the astral, and then they get them to recycle back in and come in confused. So a lot of people who are born on earth are born in confusion because they never get out of this cycle of repetition, and religion keeps you coming right back in. There's no religion that is exempt from Anunnaki influence. They have influenced every single one. And the way they play religions is to keep you all against each other. Oh, you Hindus, you're not good. You Buddhists are better. No, you Catholics are better. No, you Jews are the tops. No, you Muslims are the tops. No, you Jains are the best because you wear scarves and you won't even kill a bug. It doesn't make any difference. They get you separated so that you all don't like each other, and you are suspicious of each other. This is the crisis that humankind is reaching for. And when these ETs start showing up, it's going to be very interesting. What do you think is going to occur? Confusion. Awe.
Yeah.
Worship.
Yeah.
Who said peace over here? Someone?
Fear.
Fear, yes, fear. Fear. Worship. You're going to be impressed because they're going to be able to play parlor tricks on you. Remember, folks, you are dealing with not only visitors that have very, very advanced technologies, but you are dealing with betrayers in the human body, humans, that have been possessed by some of these visitors who have access to very, very sophisticated technologies. And there are many reports that all the cell towers, all the smart gridders, all the smart, what do you call them, meters, all the phones that you have in your hands will all be utilized to send signals to change your thoughts, change your behavior, and even more. The cell phone towers can be utilized to help create holographic images in the heavens, along with the 50,000, 60,000 satellites you have up there. How are you going to get through this? Use your mind. The more you use your mind, the greater the capacity awakens. Years ago, we assured people, the greater the darkness, the greater the confusion, the greater your ability will rise in parallel to navigate through it. Anything else, Michelle?
Well, just when you say that, I wonder then, those of us who are aware of it, those of us who do see through it, witness it, stay in neutral, are we going to be, is the planet going to bifurcate? Are we going to be living on this planet just holding neutral when everybody's going insane? One person's worshiping, the other person's freaking out and crying, you know.
A little bit. Listen, it's not as if we are saying to all you people, oh, you are going to be a few survivors and everyone else is going to lose it. You are here to witness.
Yeah.
This is your soul's evolution. And if you can see this much already, your soul's already got a good start. What many of you miss is that your coolness and your observation and your understanding without getting all fanatical, energetically, that's a stabilizer. Without saying a word, many of you stabilize. You're stabilizing Raleigh right now. How many people in Raleigh know that they are being stabilized? Even the people out that are coming in the front door now have no idea what energy they are walking into, but it is stabilizing them because we are talking about difficult things and you are all stabilized. So you are here, yes, to observe, to witness, to participate, and it's not that a few are going to survive and many are going to demise. It's still up for grabs what will unfold. There's no assured one future. And remember, probabilities branch off. And your recognition and the frequency of energy that you vibrate at, which is a summation of your attitude and your beliefs, that vibration in itself puts you in a different world than many others. Yet you may see them. It's not like a wall exists between you. But we've often said that people in different probabilities live on the same street or in the same house. Meaning the investment in raising your awareness offers a certain amount of protection. Otherwise, why would you do it? You understand? Yes. We don't hear big understanding, but that's a good chuckle there. All right, who has a question? Who wants to ask something?
This is Alex.
Alex, yes, welcome.
On my personal experience, I've noticed that there's a rhythm, of course, in communication and in conversation. And I believe I'm noticing that rhythm that used to be really organic is not there anymore. I've noticed people stepping into each other's words somehow. And that, with the conversation we're having here in the room, I am wondering if this is some kind of a Babel kind of, something imposed to us that is not letting us communicate properly the way we've used to.
Where are you seeing this?
Just in, even myself, people that I talked to in the past and now, the rhythm is not there as much as it used to be.
What you are sensing is the destructive elements of Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi. You call it Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely ruining the cognitive capacity of humans. And there have been various people who have speculated that the less developed the brain is, in other words, younger people are, the greater the effects of cognitive failure. And so the more chance you've had to be without these intrusive forces, in other words, the older you are more likely to keep your reason. But if you look at it, Alex, every place you go, someone's on one of these dumb devices. The wireless is everywhere. And this is creating massive destruction of humankind, and very few people want to admit it because they are so addicted to their device. Even when they are told the device is destructive, they keep using it. And you are going to get cognitive failure. Some people are weaker than others. Some people think they are immune to it. You are not immune to it. We don't care where you are. You're all being damaged by this inability to clearly communicate, or what you call babble.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is Joyce.
Yes,
Sorry.
Joyce.
It's called The Word Exchange by Alina Graydon, who's from Durham.
The word
The Word
exchange.
Exchange, and it's exactly about what you described, about the breakdown of communication. Very, very interesting.
And the author's name again is?
Graydon, Alina Graydon.
Alina Graydon.
Right.
And the book is
It's called The Word Exchange.
The Word Exchange.
It's exactly about what you just described.
We'll say that, what is this year, 2016?
Mm-hmm.
It looks to us by 2020, we've made this prediction before, but when people figure out how destructive this stuff is, how really damaging it is, they'll start pulling down these towers. It's not something we advocate, because we don't advocate violence in any capacity, but we see in the future that this is a very distinct possibility. It will start in the more radical remote areas. Radical meaning areas where people are more reactive to government and intrusions. Rural western areas perhaps may come across this first. But by 2020, many astrological cycles reset themselves and start again. And then only 2 or 3 years later, you come into a reactivation of something very big in the USA, July 4th birthday. And you are seeing the breakdown now of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence. And there is a very rapid movement that wants to destroy this country of liberty and freedom. And whatever you think of this country, we'll say this too. There's nowhere in the world where people live as freely and with so much going for them as in the US of A. Just remember that. You are a canary for the world in terms of embodying freedom and the representation that you can come here, and if you want, you can work your way up to whatever you can dream. There's that opening is not possible. It's not welcomed in other parts of the world. And of course, certain forces that want to take over the world see the USA as a complete threat to world hegemony. And this is why the politics that are going to come in are going to do their very best to keep eroding and destroying the USA experiment. There's some very, very disturbing dark forces at play, and but there are also forces way beyond the astral, forces such as we and many, many others that work with awakening minds in a non-violent capacity to help you use the power of the mind to revisualize, to redream, and to use that power in spite of everything that wants to limit you, to demonstrate what can be done. This is the victory of the soul. This is why you incarnate in this time, to get one of those big victories. All right, question. Who has one?
I do. I'm Sarah.
Sarah, welcome. Loud and clear.
Thanks. I just had a question about your mind. So I know you said before that we should use our mind and that gives us greater capacity. I've been awakening, and part of the process that I'm going through is letting go of the mind in a way. So I was just wondering if you could give me guidance on how to ground in a sense, but also to use your mind in conjunction in the awakening process.
All right, this is good. First of all, what are you letting go of when you say you're letting go of the mind? Beliefs?
I think it is beliefs and patterns.
All right, good. All right, good. You are answering the questions good. How to ground and how to use the mind. Two nuts we love. Remember, peanut is the award-winning word there. That's the Anu word, because it has Ia and Anu in it. Now, how to ground and how to use the mind. The mind is used in its greatest capacity when you use your imagination and when you visualize. This is, you're going to get best miles per galaxy in your body when you visualize. So it means, what's your name again?
Sarah.
Sarah. So it means, Sarah, in order to use your mind properly, you must know what you want. Now, different groups will say, you can't have that, or some religions will say, want nothing, desire is bad. So that means that the government can tell you what to do. They will do your thinking for you. What do you want? And you may say, well, I don't know. Imagine if we are the fairy godmother and we are saying, bibbidi bobbidi boo. What do you want? This is everyone's problem. What do you really want? If you can have anything, you have to work for it, of course. But if you can imagine it, and if you keep focusing on it, and if you visualize the outcome that you want, that's how to use your mind. What you use it for, it's up to you. But how to use it, these are the instructions. Now, how do you ground? You use the imagination, and every day, everyone, you get your best mileage when you imagine, and you say, all right, today is going to be a great day. I picture myself grounded. And you don't have to see movies. And some people say, well, I can't see. That's all right. Use the words out loud or to yourself, or write them down. And you picture, to be grounded, that you are in the present moment, not in the past, not in the future, in the present moment, today. And we advise that you picture a good strong rope with a big crystal at the end of it. Let's say, we used to say the size of a football, but how about 3 or 4 footballs? A really big crystal. And it's on a strong rope, and the rope can be made of anything from sisal to hemp to strands of gold, platinum, silver, copper, whatever. Use your imagination. Ribbons, something strong. And you picture it going down from your feet, down, down, down to the center of the earth. And you've got a big crystal or a pearl or whatever you imagine at the end of it, something of value. And it grounds you into the present moment. This means that you are here now. And most people are not here now. They're thinking about yesterday or tomorrow, or what they're going to do in the next few moments. That's grounding. The second part of grounding is to picture your aura around you about 6 inches out, golden. If you feel harassed, if you feel vulnerable, if you feel confused, if you feel unprotected, 3 layers of the aura, all close to each other. Triple it up. Aura up, up, up. Grounding cord down. It takes seconds. And then you say red, orange, yellow. These are your 3 lower chakras, red, orange, yellow. Green. It's easy to see green. The world is turning into, what, a million shades of green. Have you ever seen so much luscious green before? And then blue, indigo, violet, the upper chakras. Grounding cord, aura up, up, up. red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. There you have it. A wonderful start to the day every day, using the imagination. And then setting out, I intend. These are the words you use. It's my intention that this day unfolds with fantastic surprises, and all the multitude of things that I have to get done are done effortlessly, easily, and I have a fantastic day, smoother than I can imagine. This is called conditioning the space. And if you have difficulties in situations of friends, family, children, partners, tests, governmental situations, whatever, before you go to sleep in the evening, make an intention. It's my intention that I work out this challenge and this difficulty while I'm dreaming in the sleep state, and that tomorrow when I awaken and I have to deal with this, it's all going to be better than I can imagine. It will work out more than fine. These are the types of ways you do your own work to condition the space. So it's a matter of taking the time to do it. You can do it quickly. You don't have to do it all day long, but you must do it every day until you develop the habit of being a creator. Does that help you, Sarah?
Yeah, thank you.
Good. We just gave you the crash course there.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything else?
I was just curious, you talked a lot about the Anu. I'd love to just hear more about other alien or ETs coming to help and what they're doing, just to put, I guess, a more positive perspective on things. Because you said there's like the battle of the good and the evil.
Yes, but no one's going to rescue you. No one's going to save you. In other words, if you're not smart enough to figure it out, and if you're not smart enough to act well, then no one's going to save you. Yes, good is at war with evil right now, but good is not going to kick evil out and say, oh, all you people on your cell phones who don't want to pay attention to anything, we just saved you. Oh, no. No one is going to rescue anyone. And for every person on the planet today, stupid is as stupid does. Is that from Forrest Gump? And as stupid does, then you will get 1,000,000 years more of stupid. That's how important it is in this lifetime. We heard the beeper, thank you, to get it right and to do good acts. And you don't have to save the world, but you darn well better lead a life that you are proud of, that your parents would be proud of, and that all your greats, your ancestors through time would say, wow, what an ancestor. Because part of what you are here to do also is to heal the pain and some of the problems that your ancestors left in your DNA. Who are the good guys? Do not expect an armada of various UFOs to come in and say this, they're going to fix you. And it's better not to go by names, because in all systems you have good and not good. So to say, oh, the Pleiadians are better than the Arcturians, or the Syrians are here to throw out the reptiles, no one knows what they are talking about. They are good and they are betrayers in all the players. And the Anus are so sophisticated, they are genetic engineers extraordinaire to the ultimate extreme. And they are slowly infiltrating onto your world some of their genetic experimentations, while some of the genetic experimentations that humans have been doing on humans and animals are now running wild on the planet. What's the good news? That you create your own reality. What's the good news? That's it. What are you going to create? That's our big question. We are not here to say, take this move, take that move, move here, move here. That would be us taking over your game. We are here to educate you, to inspire you, to guide you, to throw some energy at you, to switch on your kundalinis and your DNA. But you must live the life and make the decisions. We have time for one or two more questions. Who has one?
This is Skylar.
You're going to have to speak much louder. Who is it?
This is Skylar.
Skylar, loud and clear.
My question is, how does one strengthen their voice? What's the best way?
It's Roger's issue as well. How does one strengthen one's voice? You have to have the confidence to speak forward and speak from the belly. If you speak too much from here, there's not enough oomph behind it. Drop your voice down. Today, if you've noticed, the newscasters and a lot of the young people, they're all speaking from their nose up here, and there's really high little voice. Drop it down. Get in the belly. And don't be afraid to speak. Speak with clarity, speak with dignity, and act as if you have something worthwhile to say. Does that help you?
Yes.
What's your sign?
Capricorn.
Well, Roger's Capricorn too. Roger, wave your hand. Maybe the two of you have to share speaking voice secrets there. That's very good. That's very good. Skylar, it's a good question and a good for a laugh. And we also applaud you for coming here tonight, because you are a young man with your pals, and you are going to have a lot to talk about and a lot to change. And remember, restore the dignity of young women by acting as gentlemen. This will go a long way in enjoying yourself as a young man, as a man in a physical form. Who else has a question?
Well, please, I haven't, but it maybe take too long. I will.
Go for it, Darcy.
I will ask you about the House 2 bill about the transgender and all this bathroom, because every day is something they're talking about. And I feel like they're using North Carolina as a example. If you don't go with it, this is what's going to happen, because a lot of businesses are pulling out, and I know it costs millions.
And the fact that corporations are going to be the determining factors for whether you are going to have money or not, this is only the beginning of not just this bill about bathrooms and transgenders and all the other things. It's really about who's making these rules and what has common sense, and whose rights are going to prevail. And then this also ties into something called TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, where it will be a small committee and corporate rule that will totally supersede your Bill of Rights, your Declaration of Independence, and your Constitution. So this is a battle royale that is not going to be fixed very easily. People are firmly entrenched, and you are once again back in the issues of Atlantis. How will you solve them this time around? Keep an open heart. Remember, let common sense prevail. That said, we wish you very best creations, pleasant journeys.